Richard Alexander Pomes. I'm a partner at RapJab, like Meredith said. We're a local boutique-sized but full-service marketing and branding agency. So I'm here to talk a little bit about the only thing I really know, and that's my experience. And hopefully there'll be some advice I can impart through that. So when I was thinking about what I'm talking about tonight, the whole idea of turning lemons into lemonade, I wanted to figure out how I can look through the lens of my past and figure out what I did in the past to get to where I am, right? So if you want to tweet or take pictures of me on stage, this is my Twitter and Instagram handles. I've been very lucky that I've been involved with 3 now successful businesses in my past. And I say now successful because there were a lot of hurdles and speed bumps along the way. There are a lot of challenges. So I like to think of those challenges as the lemons that we're trying to turn into lemonade. The 3 different businesses that I've been a part of are all in wildly different industries. But they had similar challenges, we used a similar strategy, and there was a similar outcome at the end. And I think that's why it makes sense to group all of these together. When I think back on these 3 different organizations, the thing that comes to mind is that at the end of the day, it wasn't about the product we were trying to sell. It was about the experience. What I have up here in the bottom line is that products aren't enough to differentiate. Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of other companies that do the same thing that your company does. So how do you differentiate yourself? By creating some other peripheral experience that you can provide to your audience along with your product. So, lemons into lemonade. I always think of this quote from Ron White. When life gives you lemons, find someone whose life has given them vodka and have a party. And this quote rings very true to me. And you'll find out shortly why that is. So what I'm going to do is talk about the 3 companies I mentioned, talk about a little bit about who they are, talk about the challenges in marketing them, and then talk about how we created a bigger experience to go along with that product. So the first company is the NOLA Project. It's a local nonprofit theater company founded in 2005. The idea is that it's a combination of New Orleans and New York actors. So some of this stuff Meredith already said. I'm the marketing director and act from time to time. The 11th season begins this fall. Get your tickets now. So the challenges with the NOLA Project when we started were that you're competing with other theater companies, right? I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. You're always competing with the people who do the same thing that you do. The challenge with theater is that you're also competing with sports, live music, movies, comedy, festivals, other performing arts, going to dinner, and Netflix. Because when people say, hey, what do you want to do tonight? They don't say, what play do you want to go to? They say, what do you want to do? So you're competing with people sometimes doing nothing. You know what I mean? People can decide to go see a play, or they can sit on their ass at home. So competing with literally everything else is quite often the way it works. The next company, Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey, Canadian whiskey shooter, tastes like heaven, burns like hell, is the way we like to describe it. In 2009, when I started with them, 50,000 case sales in 2009 nationally. In 2013, it was up to 2 million. It's one of the fastest growing liquor brands of all time. I was the first employee on the marketing side and the national brand ambassador for the time I was with them. The challenges with that company were no one knew what it was. A lot of bartenders told me, we'll never serve that here. People aren't as adventurous as you would think. A study showed that most people don't change their go-to drink after 30. Once you hit 30, for the most part, most people are locked into their tastes. Nobody is adventurous after 30 or tries new things, studies show. The last challenge with this is that the liquor industry is slow and dumb. There's a lot of red tape you have to cut through if you want to grow a product in the liquor industry. It takes a long time because of different states having different laws. Sales reps, you kind of have to grease their palms in order for them to want to sell your product. So there's a lot of challenges when it comes to liquor. The final one is RapJab. As Meredith said, RapJab is a marketing and branding agency founded by my business partner James Brindell and myself here in New Orleans. Our belief is that people connect to people, not companies. So what we do is we try to create relationships as opposed to selling products for our clients. 2 to 10 employees in roughly 2 years, about 2.5, and we work in all the industries. everything from oil and gas to retail to education to liquor. It's been a wild ride. The challenges with marketing agencies, and I know that I'm the third owner of a marketing agency to speak tonight, so sorry guys. The challenges are that everyone thinks their process is unique when it comes to marketing. It becomes an arms race. You know, who can use graphic design and copywriting to explain their process the best and the most interesting way? You know, I believe that our creative work is top notch, but the truth is that marketing agencies are a dime a dozen in New Orleans, nationally, the world. So the question is how can you get clients to believe that you're the best over somebody else? So those are the challenges of those three companies. When I think about the challenges, this is what I learned. No matter how good the quality is, your products and services, excuse me, aren't always enough to differentiate yourself from the competition. So my lemons were a lack of peripheral content because I had 3 products, but I wasn't doing anything else to create a bigger experience for the audience. So we solved this by creating an all-consuming audience experience for all 3 businesses. And this doesn't have to just be in these 3 industries. This is, you know, in this day and age, consumers, audiences expect more than the product. They're so wowed by Apple making the nicest package a product comes in that you have to compete on that level. So creating an experience, creating this peripheral content. For the NOLA project, the quality of the production wasn't enough. New Orleanians don't want to sit in a stuffy theater, right? They're used to music festivals and Mardi Gras. They want to get up and move around. So what we did is we partnered with New Orleans Museum of Art in 2011. The first production we did with them was A Midsummer Night's Dream in the Vestoff Sculpture Garden. We tried to create a truly immersive experience that was not a play where the audience sat and looked at a proscenium stage. There were multiple locations, different paths, character interaction. The audience was literally moved around the garden. And what that did is it created a world that the audience could step into the minute they stepped into the garden. But there's more. So now we do NOLA shows twice a year. It's not just a play, it's an event, is what we say. The biggest success for us has been converting non-theater goers into theater goers. The thing we hear the most is, I don't like plays, but I like this. Before, most shows we did, 100 people a night was a success. 300 or more is what we have now in our NOLA shows. Because we've added things like food trucks, the bar, games, this peripheral content around the play that other people can enjoy, even if they don't like plays. So I'm going to show you, let's see. Oh, Meredith is not up here.
It's not up there.
No.
Oh no, I keep messing up for you.
It's okay. That's all right. I had this really cool video of the NOLA Project's outdoor shows, but I'm already like 2 minutes. Oh, it's fine.
Current slide on top.
It's fine. So, Fireball Whiskey, creating the experience. The challenge we had with Fireball was nobody liked it, right? There was no connection with the brand. Guys said this is for women because it's cinnamon. Women said it looks too strong, so nobody was using the product. So what we did is we created a love for the experience, not the brand. We came up with this thing called the Fireball Run, and we did it in Austin, Texas on 6th Street, which is there, Burgess Street. We did an event, it was impromptu, guerrilla, and unofficial. It was essentially a bar-hopping flash mob that went down 6th Street, went into a bar, bought shots, next bar bought shots, next bar bought shots. And we started with 5, 10 people on most nights and ended up with 30, 40 sometimes people. The reason it worked is because the consumer felt like they had ownership of the product's success. We weren't trying to convince them to use the product, we were just asking them to come to a party. Because of that, we converted people from no brand affection to essentially brand ambassadors, because they went back to their friends and convinced people, you have to try this product. Not because it's good, because they had fun doing it. So here are some pictures. So what you can see here is that it's not really about the product, it's about the experience. It's really about what happens around the product. Finally, Rap Jam. We're all about brand building. Beautiful logos, moving copy, emotional stories. We knew that our brand had to be the best possible showcase version of what we can do for clients. Not enough to do a brand guide, right? We had to create our brand and make it be the best. So how do we do that? We throw parties. Parties that have very little to do with marketing. What that says to our clients is, this is how we'll make your brand exciting. It's the idea of like, who do you want to work with? A bunch of stiffs sitting in an office, or a young, hip company of people who like to party. And for the most part, it works. I have a video for this one. Let's see. So what you'll see here, I'm only going to play a few seconds. I know I'm almost out of time, or I am out of time. As you can see here, this video has nothing to do with explaining what our marketing does. But it creates community, it creates culture, clients, friends, team members come, and what they do is they enjoy themselves, they hang out. This has actually led to new business leads. This is on the internet. Nowhere does it say, hey, we're a marketing agency, hire us. But people who don't know what we do have emailed us and said, what do you do? We're a marketing agency, and then they've given our contact to other people and it's led to business. This guy in the green is here, Devin, so after this, buy him drinks and ask him to dance, and he'll do this. Our senior copywriter over there. So, let's go back to this. So the big question at the end of all this, looking at these three companies, if your customer can get your product somewhere else, what can you do to create a more robust experience than the other guy? Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of people that do what you do. How can you create a more fun, a more comprehensive experience? And what I've shown you are events, right? This is how I have done it. But if you're a retail store, maybe you add music to the storefront, right? If you have product packaging, maybe you include something other than the product in that packaging. There are a ton of ways that you can create peripheral content and other experiences for your brand or your business. It doesn't just have to be events. So I go back to this quote: when life gives you lemons, find someone whose life has given them vodka and have a party, right? What I made with lemons was I added vodka and threw a party. Thank you.